try and do it ourselves, or was it that you saw some dodgy dealings with promoters and thought you guys could do it a little bit more cleaner and better, or do it your own way?
Yeah, it's more of a do it our own way. I mean, don't make me wrong, buddy. Brian Dixon, I've got so much respect for and everything else. But, on that night, as I said, the greatest night of my life. And, there weren't no belts at the end of it. It's like, geez, we just won the biggest titles. So me and Jimmy went and had our own belts made 2 days after. We made the belts viable and stuff like that. And it got to the stage where championships are being treated like crap. It's like, go on second or third, defend the world title. And, in my company, the world title always goes on last. We still have the fanfare. We still have the national anthems of the, if a New Zealand guy was going against a British guy, both anthems are played, stuff like that. It still made a big wow of things. And I just felt like the punters were being cheated, It was all about, let's give them a show, 5 matches, let's go home. And the thought for the business is all gone because it had gone off telly. People felt they could be lazy, That's how I thought. And, I don't disrespect any of the guys because I love Brian. Brian Dixon, as I said, he made the suit flyers and the Crabtrees. Once Big Daddy had gone, they didn't know what to do, So I thought, I said to Jimmy, let's just run a company. My point was I wanted to make my own stars as well, which I think we've done. We made a lot of, got our own training school, one of the oldest training schools in the UK. And we've trained our own people, we've made stars. And even now, I can actually make a show with my own family, let alone my roster. Out to do. As I said, we make belts worth having. We still go by the old adage, you earn a belt, it's not given, you're a wrestler, 24 hours a day, not just for the minute you're in the ring, how you portray yourself, how you portray the company, all this sort of stuff is how we run our business. And that's why we started it. It wasn't for the money. So, to be honest, I was making lots more money when I was running bouncing agencies and market stalls than I've ever earned in wrestling. But I've never had the job satisfaction I've had in wrestling. So that's the difference, It's not about money with me. As I said, it's always about what's best for wrestling and a legacy when I go. That's what it's always been about.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing, you talk about, you could book a complete show with your family, and obviously, your children, Roy, Zach, and Paige, all professional wrestlers, your grandson, Ricky Jr., who the namesake, your namesake as well. But I actually saw... Yeah, I actually saw on social media probably a couple of weeks ago that Zach's children, who are, I think your grandson's about 8 or 9 years old, had his first wrestling match recently. So
5-year-old, and my great grandson, he's 5 as well. So that they had a match as well. And Caden, Zach's boy, he's 6. I think he's just turned 7. He's had his match. Because what we do, we run kiddies shows. Our kiddies group go from 6 to 15. Yeah. They do their own shows and they have their own Kid Mania, which is a massive show for them. And that's what keeps them interested. And, obviously we don't get them to take the massive bumps up, but a lot of it's British style wrestling, a lot of chain wrestling. But the fans and the parents are so supportive. I mean, I think their record crowd was 500 for a Kid Mania, Wow. Some the bigger companies would like a crowd like that, and it's just amazing what the kids can do,
Yeah, and you know what? No promotion is doing that. And could you I can just imagine, my inner 12-year-old right now would be marking out if someone said, "Hey, would you like to get into a wrestling ring and have a match?" I'd be like, sign me up. I think every kid would sell their soul for that opportunity, So.
The thing is, a lot of the kids have got autism, Asperger's and stuff. And, the parents have sat down. We sit down with the parents and they've just said the belief it's given. I mean, one of the lads, his school attendance was down to about 43%. He's been wrestling. It's now up to 100%.
Wow.
We've got kiddies whose tablets have gone down. We've got another lad who used to be so violent, he'd hit his mother, he'd do this sort of stuff, and now he's just a perfect gentleman. Well, he's actually out there doing my garden with Ricky, and he's got a real bad autism, but he's had championship belts, and now all the other autistic kids look up to him. I said, we got the blind kid from the movie, James. You know, he's still wrestling and he's an inspiration to everybody. So as I said, when we get down at the gym, we're inspired by everyone in there, you know, because they've all got difficulties and they've all got stories to tell. And, you know, we've got abused kids, you know, sexually abused kids that we'll give a second life to. And that's what I'm proud of. As I said, money can't buy that. £1 million can't buy saying a blind kid walking to the gym one day, so I want to wrestle. And I thought, Zach, mate, this is a challenge. And he said, Dad, we can do it. And when he had his first match, I've got to admit, you know, the tears are running down my cheeks, you know. And then we had a little Down syndrome kid he called Sam, who trained for a year and a half. And we said, you ready for a match, Sam? And his dad was really, you know, do you think he's ready? And we put him in there. We put him on my other grandson, PJ, in a hood. And the match was amazing. He got standing ovations. And see his dad with tears run down his cheek, think, money can't buy this. Money can't buy this sort of thing. This is what we do. This is what wrestling's all about. We give people opportunities. Doesn't matter where they are, where they come from, what problems they got. We can give them that, you know, time to shine. And that's what we do as a company.
Yeah, no, and it's amazing, and hearing all these stories about it, and you know, it just, I take my hat off to you to be able to like give this opportunity to children that have had, you know, hard lives or have these things, that these limitations, as you said, that in other areas of life may sort of stop them from excelling and succeeding, and give them an opportunity to, the same opportunity as everyone else, to get in there and live out their dream of being a professional wrestler and to get in the ring. I take my hat off to you, sir. You know, like, my respect level for you was already here, sir. It's now gone up through the roof, mate. And I genuinely mean it.
Anyone who's seen the movie knows where I come from, what I was. It's no secret, you know. And, you know, I turned my life around, and all I wanted was second chances, you know, and they weren't forthcoming. You know, it's just like every door was shut to me. That's why I've always worked for myself, because, you know, no one will give you an opportunity. And, you know, what I did was wrong in my past, but also shaped me as the man I am now. Without my past, I wouldn't be the man I am now, you know. So even though I regret my past, it's something what's happened. But I said to myself, well, if we get the opportunity to give people second chances, that's what I'm going to do. Or even first chances, where, you know, when it comes to illnesses and mental illnesses and that, you know. So, and it's not a secret of the fact I've got, you know, a mentally ill son who's in permanent lockdown in an institution that we can't, you know, he's been there now 15 years on and off. And, you know, I just feel that people like him, you know, they need help. I'm afraid my son's probably beyond repair, but people with the same sort of thing, we can help. We have helped, who are now married, got children and stuff like that, and turned their lives around. So that's what my inspiration is, and that's my family is, and stuff like that. And, you know, and as long as we're doing that, we're happy. You know, we do take some stick on the internet at times, but we're happy. We know what we're really doing and what we're really all about, you know, so that's what matters.
Yeah, and look, there's always going to be internet tough guys and keyboard warriors and all that bullshit, you know, but anyone who's watching this interview can see how genuine you are and how passionate you are about, you know, giving people second chances and giving people opportunities, you know, to live out their dream, and to live out, you know, and especially young children, to give them that opportunity to get in the ring and have a match and to call themselves professional wrestlers, you know, is absolutely amazing. But, you know, obviously we talk about, you know, your children and you know, you mentioned your son who's been in a facility, and I saw that and I saw a Facebook post you did the other day, and, you know, as I mentioned before to you before the show started, I'm a father myself, and reading that post that you did, you know, my heart completely went out to you, mate. And, you know, it's something will never pretend to know about, and like I said, it's you know, seeing that and hearing you talk about your family, it's such a passionate, close knit. And as I was saying, you know, when I first started this, after seeing the Fighting With My Family documentary back in 2012, and when I started interviewing wrestlers, the first name that was at the top of my list was Ricky Knight, and the second name was Sweet Saraya. So for me, it was like, I always wanted this opportunity to sit down with you, because you seem like such a genuine guy that really sort of brought his family together. And pro wrestling was one of those things that really did it. But you can definitely see that tight-knit family bond that you guys had in that documentary, and you could see that it was genuine. It wasn't just, oh, the cameras are here, we got to lovey-dovey. It was a genuine thing that you could that I sensed from that.
Yeah, as I said, the only thing that made me a bit emotional the other day is that I've lost track of the kids with help with mental illnesses, you know, and the only regret in my life is that I can't help my son. So I don't, you know, I think he's beyond repair, and they're probably spending the rest of his life in there. And it bugs me every day that we can, as a family, can take these other kids and give them a life. But we tried so hard with my son, but it's just something it's never going to happen. And some nights, like last night, when he's on there to me, saying that I'm Winston Churchill and my mate Starling, and you know he's got £1 million bail. What he does, he watches all the news, and it all mixes up in his head. And in the end, he thinks he's going to be assassinated and all this sort of stuff. And you can't convince him otherwise, you know. And when you've got 20 minutes with your son, and you think, I just can't do nothing here to help. You know? Whereas I get a kid in the office, you know, I'm not being funny. For example, we had lads come to me who, you know, are gay, and they said to me, I don't know how to tell my dad. And I'll sit there with them hours and hours and day by day. And eventually they go and tell their family, and their life's so much better. But I can't say to my son how I can make his life better, because I can't. And that's the most frustrating thing in life, you know, that we can't help so many people, but we'll never be able to help my son. That was the frustration of that post I put the other night, really.
Yeah, and I think anyone who is a parent can definitely relate to that. Is, you know, you always want the best for your children, no matter how old or young that they are. You know, and when your children are hurting and when your children are going through stuff, you know, it breaks your heart. And you know, obviously, my children are a little bit younger than yours, Ricky. But you know, it's the same, no matter how old they are, my friend. You know, it's.
I mean, you know, as I say, it doesn't matter how old they get. I mean, like, you know, like Paige, you know, every bad thing she got on the internet hurts us all, you know, and yeah, it's really hard, you know, and I didn't realise, you know, that fame was so tough, you know. Everyone dreams of being famous, you know. We all want to do that. We all want that adulation and the money, but I didn't realise how tough it was till my own daughter became famous, you know, and what they have to put up with and on a daily basis. It's just crazy. I'm just glad that I do what I do, and I do it, you know, in my own gym, and I just look after people. And even then, I get a load of nonsense, you know what I mean? But you know, it's just, but what they have to take on a daily basis is just ridiculous. And you know, seeing my daughter go through it at times has been really tough, you know. And but she come out the other side because she's a tough girl, tough cookie, tough businesswoman, and she's fine, you know. She's doing great.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to go into the details of all the stuff that's come out, you know, on Page, but you know, I remember seeing a lot of the stuff come out and hearing about it, and knowing that Paige is still a young woman. She's only like in her mid-20s, and still, you know, very young. And for anyone to be going through that, especially someone who's young like that as well, it would take a massive toll on their mental health and their whole mindset. But as a parent, how did you feel, like, you know, when everything was going on? And as I said, we're not going to go into the specifics. But as a father, being on the other side of the world when your daughter's going through that must have been so hard for you guys.
Well, to be honest, me and, you know, my wife sat up most nights, and we didn't really know what to say. To be honest, it was nearly a Amy Whitehouse thing, very near.
Yeah.
On 2 or 3 occasions, and it was tough.
Yeah, no, I like I said, it's, you know, I've never really been one to buy into the dirt sheets, and especially the internet slander, you know.
It's no secret, you know, what's out there, and we, you know, as a family, we face things head on. But what I'm saying is, what people forget, when Paige, as they all know, went out there, she was an 18-year-old kid, you know.
Yeah.
Vulnerable kid who went into a new big world with everyone's, the whole family and all the British public on a, you know, expecting her to do the great things. They didn't realise, you know, maybe up to 10, 20 times a day she'd ring me in tears saying, "Dad, I want to come home." You know, it's really tough. And seeing her break down, he kept trying to motivate her, saying, "Look, you know, just wait till the next big event, sweetheart. Wait till WrestleMania, sweetheart. Wait till SummerSlam." And then, you know, because like she just didn't know whether she could cope. And as I said, the first year was just, right, give it a chance and stuff. And she did. She kept fighting back and kept fighting back. And then, she got her reward when she got her championships and that. But what I'm saying, people think, oh, she went over and had it easy. Believe me, it wasn't easy.
No. And you know what? And that's the thing. The women's wrestling revolution, majorly in WWE, in my opinion, and many others as well, it started with Paige because at the time she was something different. She was really that breakout of this. And I remember the first time I saw her in NXT, I was like, this girl is different from what we're seeing in women's wrestling today. And I've always been a big fan. And what she's accomplished and everything that she's done, as a father, you must be very proud.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said to her, I was proud of her hair even because I said it 15, 16. She's flying around the world. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
She was putting into promoters all over the world. I'd have my own show and I go, Saturday, we're at, say, Thetford. She said, Dad, I'm in Turkey. What? I've been booked to Turkey and I've been booked to Norway. I've been booked to Sweden. And her philosophy was, book me now, I'm going to be famous. And she had that belief, Other people would call it arrogance, but she had that belief. And, at 15, 16, she's on more money than her mother. Her mother was an established star, So she always had this confidence and stuff, you know what I mean? So she knew what she wanted, and she was a real strong-willed girl, But as I said, it was the biggest thing for us. We are a close family. And me and Saraya are very close, as a father and daughter.
Yeah.
And for her to be carried off to a country 1,000 miles away, you know what I mean, and try and survive out there, it was just amazing. You remember, she had to, get her flat, she had to make her own stuff up, she had to get everything sorted out and stuff like that, and it was not easy. So, yeah, I'm immensely proud of her. I'm proud of her now. She's got her own businesses. She's got, she's got a makeup business. She's got a clothes business. She's doing really well. She lives in a house in not Vegas, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My house will fit in her kitchen. Not bad for a girl who come from a council estate in Norwich. You know what I mean? So I'm mega proud of her, and she never forgets her roots. So I won't let her.
That's it.
Watch her. I'd make her make me a coffee and make me do things just to keep her on a level. And she never argued. She'd do it for me. And that's how she's always been. She's a level-headed girl.
You've raised them right, mate.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to say is, obviously seeing the documentary and obviously seeing the movie, Fighting With My Family, that scene where everyone came and saw her off at the airport. I'm a grown man, and me and my wife went and saw that movie. And my wife, who's never been a wrestling fan, she walked away from that movie and she became a Paige fan after that. And when we're sitting there, when they had that airport scene, my wife's going, "Oh, isn't this really sad?" And then she, like, I didn't say anything. She looked over and I'm like, this one.
Yeah, but that bit with the hood, that is true. When she left Norwich, she said to Zach, "I don't think I can do it, Zach." And he said, "Listen, sis, when you walk away from the group, just put your hood up and don't look back."
Yeah.
The true story, and that's what she done. I watched her put her head up. That's what made me get tearful, because I remember Zach's last words to her, put your hood up, don't look back, or she won't go. And that's what she done. That's why it's so emotional to me. It was, I remember the exact words being said. So, yeah, that's what made it very, very emotional.
Oh, 100%. And we talk about Zach, and in the documentary and in the movie, we see Paige getting signed, and unfortunately Zach didn't get signed. But to his credit, and like I said, I follow you all on social media. That's still his goal, and I take my hat off to him. But just like, that's not letting him stop. But how much? How did he take not being signed? His sister doing, like, was that a sort of like hard for you? Sort of, you want to be happy for her, but you sort of want to sort of lift your son back up to.
Well, yeah, what didn't come out in the movie too much is that Roy was the first one to ever go there. My oldest son, Roy, and he got turned down. And Roy went on he went downhill very quick, and had a few problems. That's something else that's well documented. Roy had problems, and people forget that he was the first one to go for a trial and got turned down. That really, because Roy didn't drink or nothing until he was 21. He got turned down for pro soccer as well when he went for trials and scored loads of goals and got to. So when Ray got signed and Zach didn't, we knew what to look for, you know.
Yeah.
And at one stage, Zach did go downhill. And but if you remember the line in the film where Paige actually says to Zach, you know, just because you ain't got a crowd watching you, Zach, or people cheering you on, doesn't mean you're not a star. What you're doing is making you a bigger star. You know, training blind kids, training autistic kids and stuff like that. And I think that sunk into Zach, you know, that every day he goes in that gym with these kids, he's a star to them and to the
Yeah.
to the local, local community.